Hi, and welcome back to part two of strategies for healthy vegan eating for optimal micronutrient intake. We're just going to jump right in with where we left off on omega 3s. So, what are omega 3s? They are a type of polyunsaturated fat. The three main types are ALA, EPA, and DHA. They're important because they build brain cells, help protect against stroke. They're anti-inflammatory, and since your body can't make them, you do need to consume them in your diet. So omega-3s in the vegan diet are generally found in the form of ALA, and ALA is able to be converted into the body to produce EPA and DHA, but the rate of conversion varies among individuals. So since that's not a guarantee that your body is sufficient in making that conversion, then taking a supplement really is the best way to ensure that you're going to get your EPA and DHA. So research studies do support evidence of low levels of omega-3 in vegans. So again, just to reiterate, getting that algae-based supplement is going to be your best bet for getting your DHA. And what you want to look for is a supplement at about 300 milligrams, and you should take one of those a day. So your recommended daily allowance for omega-3s are 1.1 gram per day for women 18 to 50 plus. And here I have listed the ALA sources that are relatively easy to find in plant sources. And those include ground flaxseed and flaxseed oil, walnuts, chia seed, canola and soy oil, soybeans, and tofu. By the numbers, a quarter cup of walnuts gives you 2.5 grams of omega-3. 1 tablespoon of chia seeds will provide 2.6 grams of omega-3, and 1 tablespoon of ground flaxseed will yield 1.8 gram of omega-3. And again, here supplementing with the marine algae to get the EPA and DHA sources of omega-3s. So I realized that this tips for increasing intake of omega-3s slide is a little bit bare, and that's kind of the point. Really, there's not any very good dietary strategies for consuming omega-3s besides getting it in the form of ALA. So you can consume the foods that we just looked at in the previous slide, and then also, again, supplementing with the marine algae. So the next two vitamins we're going to talk about are vitamin B12 and vitamin D. So vitamin B12 is an essential vitamin. It's needed for nervous system function, DNA synthesis, and homocysteine metabolism. And vitamin D is a hormone that's made by the body when sunlight contacts the skin. It's also a fat-soluble vitamin. It assists the body in absorbing calcium and phosphorus. So it's always a good idea to take your vitamin D if you're supplementing with a food that's higher in calcium. It also plays a role in controlling infections. It helps modulate cell growth. It's involved in neuromuscular function and reduces inflammation. So your recommended daily allowance for B12 is 2.4 micrograms for women 19 plus, and your recommended daily allowance for vitamin D is 600 international units for women 19 plus. And you can see here that your plant sources of vitamin B12 and vitamin D are pretty much limited to foods that are fortified with these vitamins. So you have your fortified nutritional yeast, soy milk, meat analogs, as well as fortified energy bars, and for vitamin D, also fortified plant milks and fortified cereals, as well as fortified orange juice. So by the numbers, you can see that 1 tablespoon of nutritional yeast will give you around 3.2 micrograms of B12. And 1 cup of fortified soy milk will give you around 1.2 micrograms of B12 and around 6 micrograms of vitamin D. And then your fortified cereals will give you about 0.6 micrograms of B12 and 60 international units of vitamin D. So it's really important to check your labels and see what the percentage is for your daily value for these vitamins and minerals, and kind of just shop around and try to look for ones that may have a higher percentage that are fortified. So tips for increasing intake of vitamins B12 and D in the diet are really consuming the fortified foods like we just talked about, and then also considering supplementation. And as far as vitamin D goes, one of the best ways to get the vitamin D that you need is to expose your skin 5 to 30 minutes of sunlight with no sunblock on daily. So you really you don't want to get sunburned, obviously. We really don't want to be putting you at risk for skin cancer, but getting out in the sun really right until your skin turns a little bit pink would be ideal. So, some food for thought. If you're considering a vegan diet and have some concerns about you're meeting your macro and micronutrient requirements, the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics has stated that vegan diets are healthful, nutritionally adequate, and may provide health benefits for the prevention and treatment of certain diseases. And it is a pretty well established fact that vegetarian diets are associated with reduced risk of cardiovascular disease, lower BMI status, lower overall cancer risk, and lower risk of type 2 diabetes. And in relation to sticking with a vegan diet, one of the things that I hear a lot from people are, oh man, I could never do that. And I don't think that's really, what I always tell them is if you wanted to do it, you could do it. It's just the fact that, you're not in a place where you want to do it. Really just kind of making that decision and trying to stick with it is going to be your best bet. And two, I think realizing that especially when you get started, you're not always going to be perfect. And I think that's one thing that turns people off a lot of times from a vegan diet is there's kind of this misconception that, or stereotype, that vegans are very self-righteous and judgmental if you say, fall off the wagon. But any effort that you give to go a little more plant-based in your life is worth the effort. And like I said, it's not always, you're not always going to be perfect, and just keep that in mind and just pick up where you left off. So some tips for sticking with a vegan diet. I'm a big believer in planning ahead. I think one of the biggest things in sticking with any type of dietary changes, lifestyle changes, is planning. So sit down, create a weekly meal plan, and make your shopping list. And sometimes at first it's not the easiest thing to do on your own. There are lots of resources that that you can find online that will provide you with weekly meal plans. There are some services that you can pay for, and then there are some resources where you can find those for free. And a nice, easy rule of thumb for creating a nutritious vegan meal is to include a bean, a green, and a grain. And when you're thinking about, what kind of things can you snack on, I think that was kind of one of the harder things for me to transition. I ate a lot of yogurts and cheese sticks and things like that for snacks. And I really just kind of shifted to trying to incorporate more fruits and vegetables for snacks, trying to, maybe have some nuts with some fruit and, things like veggie sticks and hummus. So try new things. It's fun, challenging to get new recipes and try different things. And also, I think I kind of said this earlier, so if you go one day and you eat unhealthy, or maybe you don't stick to 100% vegan, just pick back up where you left off at the next meal. Don't get down on yourself. You're giving it your best effort, and there's always a learning curve when we do something new. So be kind to yourself, and just keep trying. All right, so I've listed here some helpful websites. This is also on your handout, so you'll be able to take these home with you, and you can look at these different websites. They have some great information that can be very helpful in your journey. And we're going to leave a little bit of time here for questions, about 5 or 10 minutes. So anything that you'd like to ask, feel free, and hopefully I'll have the answer. If not, I am more than glad to get back with you in an email. All right. Thank you for being here with me today. The next part of our seminar, we're going to get hands-on, and we are going to do a little bit of prepping and cooking and trying some different types of vegan food. So hopefully you guys will enjoy that, and thank you very much.